Good evening, wrestling fans. Welcome back to another edition of Evolution of Pro Wrestling. Tonight, we're going to be welcoming on the show a unique tag team. Brother tag teams that they have been fierce, and they come from New York City. We're going to be welcoming Michael Cortez and Chris Cage onto the show. We've heard a lot about these guys. They've done a lot of work in New York City. They've worked in many promotions. Longest reigning tag team champions in a certain promotion, which we're going to mention in this part of the interview. And we're looking forward to inviting them in as we speak. Okay. Let's take a look here. Let's try to track them down. We just invited them. It's going to be an epic interview, guys. You don't want to miss this one. We have a whole bunch of questions. Hope you guys are having an excellent evening. This week's show is going to be also one you're not going to want to miss. So let's see how that's going to go. Okay, we're just waiting for them to plug in. Okay, and there he is, fans. We're going to plug them in right now. And Mike Cortez. Zoltan is the name of their tag team. Should be going on right now. And then Zoltan, one of the ruthless tag teams in New York City. How you doing, guys?
Zoltan. It's Zoltan. Let's start the interview right by getting it right.
You got it, sir. Zoltan. Mike Cortez and Chris Cage. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing? Okay, we had a misconnection. Let's try it again. Okay, it was declined.
Yeah, booted off the show.
We are there.
Welcome back, gentlemen.
All right, there it is.
All right, here we are. First off, we've heard a lot about you in New York City. We've seen all the promotions that you've been in. BWF, BCW, ACE, 2KW Pro. You guys have wreaked havoc. You guys are the longest reigning tag team champions in WXWC4. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's a good time. What you said? What?
What's that now?
Can't hear anything.
Can you hear me, gentlemen?
I could hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
All right, there it is.
Yes, sir. There you go.
All right, we're back.
All right. Gentlemen, you've worked for many organizations. BWF, BCW, ACE, 2KW Pro. You guys are the longest reigning tag team champions in WXWC4. Can you tell us about that, gentlemen?
I mean, what is there to tell? You just said it yourself. 581 days. Let's get it straight, everybody that's listening. The longest reigning WXWC4 champions of all time. The superstar they call Whiplash, Absolute Chris Cage. And as a matter of fact, soon to be two-time WXWC4 tag team champions.
Sounds impressive. What made you get into this industry? You know, who did you watch growing up as a tag team or as a singles competition?
For me, it was a lot of singles competition. We met a little bit later in life. So I watched a lot of singles guys. And I liked everyone. There's so many to name. but I take a lot from a lot of people.
I like a lot of singles guys too. I watched like the small. I watched a lot of high flying guys, and at that time there wasn't many of those. So it's like Dynamite Kid.
Mm.
You got Rick Steamboat, Macho Man.
Well, those are excellent performers, excellent gentlemen to watch as growing up, because I've seen them myself as a wrestling fan.
Hell
You
yeah.
guys have really made a name for yourselves. Pretty much, it looks like you guys don't take any prisoners. You just go with destruction and worry about the consequences later, if there is any consequences. So, do you think there's any tag team out there that can beat you guys anywhere around the region?
Anywhere in the world? Come on, man.
Yes, sir.
That's a bold question to ask. There's nobody on the planet. If anybody thinks that they could beat these two guys right here, all I suggest is that you step up to the plate. We're not hard to find. I'm not hard to find. He's not hard to find. Just call our names, baby. I promise you, I will answer. Whoever wants it. Anywhere up and down the East Coast, West Coast, Mid-South, Central, wherever you want to go.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to that and have taken notice. You know, would you ever consider coming down north to actually coming down south? I'm sorry, coming down south to Florida to go to any other promotion to just wreak havoc and
Hell
beat
yes.
the
It
living
would
shit out
be
of
an
people?
honor to hurt a lot of the performers you have down there in Florida. It would be great.
Well, I would like to see that. I would like to see you guys come down to Florida just to see what you guys are really made of. I've seen what you guys are made of for sure in New York City, because New York City is not a piece of cake to deal with when it comes to talent. But I'm sure you guys definitely can hold your own. When it comes to training in the ring, how do you guys stay fit to continue
Oh, you got a
doing
cognac.
what you're doing and putting this destruction in the ring?
Honestly, our favorite method to use since we were young is to train with each other and train against each other.
Well, you had mentioned to me that you were trained by Joel Maximo.
My own partner. What do you think I'm gonna do to my opponent?
We kind of
Pretty
spent a
much
lot of
beat
our
you.
friendship beating each other up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a way to train. You guys know each other better than anybody. So who else to train than your own tag team partner? You know, so that's a hell of a way to stay in shape.
It actually helps, you know, for any tag teams out there. It helps with your tag team chemistry too. If you could be great opponents, you're gonna be great tag team partners.
Absolutely. Now, how did you come up with the name Zoltan?
So
That's funny.
the name kind of started out, to be perfectly honest, as a joke. I'm sure a lot of people that came up in our time are familiar with the movie Dude, Where's My Car? You might be familiar with this, Lewis, yourself. And in that movie, you might remember a certain cult that follows a gentleman by the name of Zoltan, or at least goes by the name of Zoltan. So fast forward, rewind back to this time, me and the brother watching the movie, one of our favorites around that time on coming up. And in a very joking manner one day, we said, wouldn't it be funny if we called ourselves Zoltan? You know, you kind of got the hand symbol going on. It's catchy.
It writes itself.
It writes itself. And at the time, people knew exactly what it was. It was big in pop culture. And so it started out as a joke. And then the conversation took a little bit of a serious turn where we kind of said, what if we actually do that? It's out there enough. After all, this is pro wrestling, so you can never be too out there. It's out there enough that it just might work.
Okay, that's one way to put it, and it has caught the attention of many people because you guys have that pretty much that reputation of just beating the living shit out of people. So obviously,
Not
people got the
exactly what we
attention.
had in mind when we started the idea of putting up a Z with our two hands. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of played itself out that way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And no, that's good. And you caught the attention of people. You caught the attention of the fans. You caught the attention of talent. It takes a lot to be tag team champions for 581 days. You know, it's not just, okay, poof, I'm a wrestler, I'm good. No, you got to really put your all into it. And you guys obviously have done that. If you had a chance to change anything in the indie scene, what would it be and why?
On the indie scene. That's hard to say just because the indie scene is experiencing such a positive time right now. There's almost something out there for literally anybody. And it's really hard to, if you look hard enough, not find something that you'll love in wrestling. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that a lot of people complain about, and I think actually that's, you know, something that people should focus a little bit less on, because there's too much wrestling out in the world to complain about a certain type of wrestling or a certain brand of wrestling. Just find what you like to watch and watch it.
Exactly.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm asking, because, you know, yeah, you have your WWE, you have your EC, All Elite Wrestling, but right now the indie scene is actually catching the attention of a lot of people. You know, I've seen a lot of indie matches, promotions out here in Florida. I've seen them in New York, Chicago, Denver, all over the country, and it's building up. And a lot of people are actually preferring to see indies before actual WWE and AEW. So which means you guys are definitely doing something right. Now, where do you see your guys 5 years from now in professional wrestling?
Well, that's a tough question.
Yeah, that is a real tough question.
You know, we've been doing this actually for a long time. And I have a family outside. I'm a parent outside of what we do. So we've actually had all kinds of conversations, whether it be where we might see ourselves in the future in terms of a performing standpoint, or will we actually even be doing this in 5 years?
Okay, and that's something you definitely need to think about. Myself as a parent, I know how it is. You know, I have my kids too. You know, worry about if I'm going to be doing this podcast in the next 5 years, or am I going to be doing something different? I always ask the talent that comes on this show, and I'm going to ask you the same question. If you had a chance right now, you two gentlemen, to challenge someone in a dream match right now, who would it be?
Anybody, past or present?
Anybody.
Past or present is pretty tough.
Yep.
Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
Excellent pick.
That's
the Brainbusters. Excellent, of course. Excellent tag team. Why would you pick them though?
They're one of my favorite tag teams, and they remind me a lot of us.
If you could hang with Arn and Tully, then you know you're.
There wasn't like the biggest guys out there, and they just outperformed everybody. And even if you were bigger than them, you knew, like, you know what I mean? You were in a fight.
Absolutely, the Enforcer and Tully Blanchard, you know, part of the Four Horsemen, elite team, elite group, and I respect that. That's an excellent pick.
I might throw the Rock and Roll Express in there their prime.
And that's still possible though.
No, but I'm talking,
It's still possible.
I'm talking 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? To feel that magic.
I'll still go.
I mean, I'm still down too. The Rock and Roll Express will go down. I hope they're listening. But you know.
Well, they actually are going to be. They're actually going to be in New York City in September in an indie promotion of USA Pro Wrestling. So it's interesting to see that.
We should walk up to them and challenge them.
We should, right there. Just
well, gentlemen, you pretty much have the floor to promote anything you want to promote, any events, any matches. The floor is yours.
Well, you know, anybody that's watching, actually, what I'd like to promote is, you know, the people that look out for us the most. Anybody that's watching out there, if you haven't checked out WXWC4, look for it on Facebook, Instagram, all of that. Like it, share it. You're gonna enjoy yourself. Places like NAX, Places like, brother, anything?
LAX. What we got? BWF, and you about to be in
BWF,
BWF
August 3rd. August 3rd,
Oh,
for the
man.
first time in almost 5 years, the absolute Chris Cage is coming back to singles action. Sorry, brother, for one night only.
Bro.
We're going to go out there for a shot at the BWF Cruiserweight Championship. Right now being held by Nikos Ricos. You might have heard of him. Well, check it out. On August 3rd, it's going down. The absolute Chris Cage becoming the #1 contender. You might as well just hand it over right now, because it's as good as done. I'm letting you know right now.
Absolutely. I'm sure he's listening to this, and I'm sure everyone that's taking notice to you guys as this tag team. I have one more question before we go. Would you guys ever consider trying out for NXT or AEW?
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
You never know. Like you
they might need some talent like you.
You said it yourself. Right now, the indies are being looked at by everyone, and it's the hottest place to be. So in all honesty, 6 months from now, a year from now, you don't know what'll happen. You don't know what you'll see, and you don't know who might show up where. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Well, Chris Cage, Mike Cortez, Zoltan, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. We appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck in the rest of your career. We wish you on your title match, your cruiserweight title match, and knock 'em dead. And good luck, gentlemen. And we appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. Have a good night.
You as well. Take care. Okay. All right, having a little difficulty closing this up. There you have it, fans. Zoltan, Chris Cage, and Mike Cortez, one of the epic tag teams in New York City. That's a team you do not want to mess with. As always, fans, thank you for joining us. And I just want to give a special shout out to BP Wrestler. He is on Facebook. He has a YouTube channel. Look him up. Pretty good reviews I've seen. From all of us here, fans, in Evolution of Pro Wrestling, as always, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram with our Evolution of Pro Wrestling shirts. You can always email us with questions, concerns, or topics at evolutionofprowrestling@gmail.com. Don't forget to tune in this Friday at 8 p.m. sharp. Our topic of the week, the most extreme moments in wrestling. Also, we'll be talking about the Extreme Rules card and all other wrestling news all over the world. Thanks again, fans. Have a good night.